Let the bass kick.
Don't spill your coffee, don't spill your coffee. All of a sudden, I can hear my voice.
Isn't it nice? Silky smooth?
Oh, I would not say silky smooth, but definitely I can hear my voice again.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome. Sorry about that little delay. It wouldn't be an episode of the Music City Disc Golf Podcast without a slight technical difficulty. Marcus?
How right you are.
Slantha, my friend.
Cheers. Make the sound.
Oh, yeah.
Enjoy the beverage. Coffee. Engage.
What kind of coffee we got tonight? Is that chock full of nuts?
My friend, this is Birdie Fuel.
Birdie Fuel. Is it the Bean Dynamic?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Bean Dynamic Birdie Fuel. Thank you to Doug Bjerkes for sending me some Birdie Fuel.
And thanks to Dr. Hoy for bringing it over.
Yep.
I like this coffee. I'm actually drinking it black.
Yeah, it's really the only way to get the full
the effect.
The full flavor.
Sometimes I need coffee.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good time to have coffee when you're on a podcast and we're just hanging out, talking to each other.
True that. Sipping
coffee. It's classy. It's gentlemanly. It's like a thing that normal people our age do. Hang out and have coffee. Talk a little bit. It's episode 86, guys. It's Monday, June 22nd. I'm getting really good at remembering what the date is. Just want to point that out.
Mondays are always filled with explorational activities. Today I was out working my butt off in the sun.
Yeah?
How about you? Did you work today?
I did. I was working for the man today.
Cheers to working for the man.
Cheers.
I was working for a man, but not the man.
Not the man? I mean, a man is kind of the man. That's kind of how that works. I'm going to just move the camera around on you guys again. I've been getting really proficient at changing camera angles mid-show. Everybody keeps changing seats on me. So we've got a lot going on. It's been a crazy, packed couple of weeks, and this weekend was definitely busy. Hey, Roofie. And we got a lot to talk about tonight. But, hey, Ruthie wants to know, how was your Father's Day, Marcus?
Oh, my Father's Day was amazing. I actually went and explored some caves. Nice. I can't say I explored some caves.
I did see a picture of you and the little boy out there.
I walked the paved path that was created by man through some caves.
Very nice. Did you go to the Narrows?
I went to Mammoth Cave, and I also went to Lost River Cave. Okay. So I sat in a boat and had to duck down and watch out for the stalactites. Don't touch anything. Listen to what I say. Turn around and come back. It was great, but it was kind of short. I was really hoping to go like a mile down, but in actuality it was probably like quarter of a mile, and being in a boat, that's not too far.
Yeah
But the Mammoth Cave was amazing. Yeah, it was reasonable. Both weren't too expensive, not too far away. It only took me an hour and a half to get there up in Kentucky. I also took my son on his first horse riding trip.
Very nice.
And it was also my first horse riding trip. I've never ridden a horse before, and I had a great time. So
he was adorbs in his helmet.
Oh, you saw the helmet?
I saw
man.
The helmet,
it was crazy. You know, for a second there, he was like, get me off here. But then he kind of he figured out what was going on. I'm like, okay, we're supposed to be on the horse. The grounds were great. Jesse James, they said he had 500 plus acres out there. They also had something I wanted to try, which was bumper boats. Yeah.
That's always fun. Yeah. Good, clean American fun.
But everything was closed. COVID-19.
Yeah, go figure.
Yeah. So
always in the news that COVID-19.
Mammoth Cave we went to, only 2 of the paths were open out of the 5, and I wasn't happy about that because I really wanted to do some exploring. Very cold. I didn't have a jacket on, but I had my son because he was super tired, and I just carried him in my arms, and he was my little ball of warmth.
Oh, perfect. That's the real reason you became a dad.
There you go. Yeah,
something
just
to keep you warm.
In
All right, guys, we've got a lot to talk about tonight. I don't know where Jay is. I hope he's okay. He didn't text me back when I asked him if he was going to make it tonight. Dr. Hoy is currently saving babies down at Centennial Hospital. He's hoping that he'll be getting off here shortly, and he can join us to talk about the Seven Oaks Summer Solstice. But we do have a good friend of ours, Jonathan Ray, also known to the rest of the world as JRay, hanging in the wings, getting ready to have a chat with us. Well, he's already here, so let's just go ahead and get him on in here.
Let's get him in.
One moment.
Let's get him in. I'm telling you, dude, Kentucky, they definitely need some more restaurants up there. I guess the part that I was in, we went to, I guess it was like, an animal petting farm, because we had a bunch of time, and there were not many restaurants to go around. I guess the best restaurant I went to was Cracker Barrel. Womp, 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 womp.
Sorry, I was tuned out. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with our Jay Rizzle.
He's probably looking like, please get me in here. Uh-oh. I got some background noise that sounds like somebody.
Homie, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I knew it. There he goes.
I'm having a hard time pulling you up.
Yeah, dude, it's like I'm in my tin can and it's storming. So
really. What's up, JRay? My name's Marcus, man. How you doing today?
I'm good, Marcus. How you doing, brother?
Great. I was looking at some of our.
Still owe me $10.
You know what, man? I knew it. I was like, dude, there's something about this guy. I was like, man, we joined at the same time, like literally almost at the same time, like in 2011. Our first tournaments were like the same year, and
no doubt.
We played in a skeeter heater. I played Pro Open. I think my finishing score was 122, and you played Advanced, and you shot 112. So you've been beating me for a long time, bro. So I don't doubt that I owe you $10. I played in only 95 tournaments, what I did check today, and that means that I owe or I have paid out at least 95 different people. So yeah, you're definitely one of those guys.
Dude, I remember that tournament. We went up and played. That's Sharp Springs, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Me and my cousin went up there and played that Stacy, and we loved that course. And it was one of the first tournaments we'd played. I think we were getting ready to go to Bowling Green or something right after that.
Right.
But he's gone up like every year, and I'm never here for it. So, but no, that was a fun track, man. It had a great combination of
Nashville
open
has
and wooded and
true.
Stuff.
Nashville has a good selection of courses, man. I hope a lot of people get down to play some of our courses, like Cedar Hills, really impressive.
Oh yeah.
Seven Oaks is just like the local favorite.
Hey, JRay, let me ask you a question.
Buddy.
Can you look at your Zoom app and see if you've got your camera enabled?
Let me see.
Because I've got your audio.
No, it's not.
Right there. I got a bogey on hole 3. And then I birdied the rest of them.
Dude, we had some of those guys from Memphis that were like, we're finally going to get to beat you. We're finally going to get to beat you because you haven't been playing. And then I shot like 30 down in 2 rounds.
Congrats. I'm glad you beat your friends. That's what I try to do. One of my friends, if you ever watch this episode, DJ Wicks, I always try to beat DJ. Oh, my goodness. This guy. All right. I don't want to go there. But, yeah, congratulations.
Yeah. So we're back on. We're streaming on Facebook again. I believe we are back.
Nice.
And we now can see your beautiful face. And, dude, you lived. And I've always been pretty excited that you were alive, but like right now, I'm definitely like in a very specific way, like super excited that you're still with us. For everybody that missed the Facebook posts or wasn't aware, dude, you totally got the Rona, and you've been down for the count, quarantined for like the last month. So, man, tell us what's it like firsthand? Just like, what was your experience like?
Well, I mean, it honestly started in a very different way. Like when I left Memphis in March, once all this stuff happened, I was actually I just ran a tournament in Tishomingo, the Tishomingo Spring Classic, and I was on my way to Mobile to play City of Mobile Championships, and I was 3 hours into that drive, and they came out that they canceled it, and so I turned back. I was like, I don't really know what to do, so I turned back around and came to Memphis and was here for a few days, and during that time, I went and had dinner with Barbara and Danny Daniels, who own Bud Hill. And the next morning, after I had dinner at their home, he found out one of his employees had tested positive that had been in his office. So I was having to quarantine for 14 days at that point in time already. And so I decided to pick up, everything was going haywire at the time. And so, we kept hearing that they were going to shut interstates down and do all this other stuff. And so, I in North Carolina to stay with my sister and mom and kids and stuff. And that obviously turned out to not be a good decision if I might have the virus. So I went to my dad's down in South Florida, and he's got a horse ranch down there with a whole bunch of room for me to park my rig and plug in and stay away from everybody for a couple weeks. So I did that. So I got to quarantine once already, and then never ended up getting it. Everything was fine, and spent the next 6 weeks or so kind of just hanging out at the ranch and not really doing anything. I mean, all the disc golf courses were closed down there, and so I wasn't doing much anything. And then about 4 weeks ago now, I guess, just over 4 weeks maybe, it was a Monday night, and I got a sore throat and went to bed going, man, I hope I'm not getting sick. And the next day I couldn't walk. I got up the next morning and it felt like somebody had just beat me to death with a baseball bat. And I remember getting up and going, like, my dad was gone. There was nobody at the ranch at the time. And I was like, I got to get some water. And so there's a fridge that's in the barn that has a bunch of water in it. It's like, I don't know, 250, 300 feet away. And it took me 40 minutes to walk back and forth. And it was just, 3 days of pure, like, hurt, like, pain that I can't, like, no flu, no nothing that I've ever had has ever made me hurt in places, like, and it was just everywhere. Like, there was nothing you do between the cough and the fever and the headaches and just the constant aching. It was pretty miserable. But slowly, slowly things started going away, and then
sorry, folks. JRay's breaking up on us a little bit.
My dad tested positive in the hospital right now. Actually, just sorry.
No, you're good. It kind of caught up a little bit.
And I heard.
I can hear you now. I think there's a little bit of a lag, but I just heard you say that your dad ended up testing positive and he's in the hospital. Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
Dang, man. I'm sorry to hear that. That sucks.
Yeah, he tested positive. His wife tested positive as well. But she never had a single symptom the whole time. I mean, in 4 weeks. And he hadn't been out of bed. He's just been in and out of the hospital and to the bathroom, basically. But they couldn't get his blood oxygen levels normalized. They were very, very low, and we'd have to call 911 to get an ambulance because you can't just drive a positive or a COVID positive person to the emergency room. They have to come pick them up and use proper precautions and things like that. So we'd get him in there. They'd have him for 4 or 5 hours, level out his blood oxygen levels, and then send him home because they said that he would get worse at the hospital. Well, that's gone on for 4 weeks, and so now they finally admitted him on Saturday morning and found a blood clot in his lung, and he's got pneumonia now, but he's actually doing much better. He got into a program sponsored by the Mayo Clinic, where they're doing like a blood transfusion and then a plasma, some type of plasma thing. Actually, just got out of that procedure about 45 minutes ago. So things are looking up for him, and we're getting some positive signals. But yeah, man, it's been crazy for sure.
I'm glad you made it through it. I mean, I know I've heard about it. I've seen about it. I mean, I've got a family in Gallatin, and Gallatin was a big hot spot in Tennessee. And
Right.
my baby mama's her father was actually at that hospital like weeks before, and we're just lucky that he's alive, because it attacks everyone, but it really like hurts. The older you are, the more pain it's going to cause you. So glad
Yeah,
that you're
there's
still
no
here.
doubt about that.
So
Me too, absolutely. I mean, it was, I will be the first to admit that I was probably too cavalier in how I was
the approach.
protecting myself or protecting other people. But yeah, I mean, it's nothing I would wish on anybody, man. I mean, it was obviously a lot of people are affected different ways from it, but just from my personal experience and then seeing the hurt and the pain and the discomfort that my dad's going through, it's a serious thing, man. I mean, I've got my cousin in Chicago, her best friend, she's 33 years old and 6 months pregnant, and she got it. She died. They got the baby out, but pulled the baby out, like
Wow.
14 weeks early.
Wow.
But it's just, there's so many things that go into it. And the bottom line is, as much as people want to have opinions and doctors and epidemiologists want to give us advice and to at least give us some comfort and direction, the reality is that we just don't know.
True.
There hasn't been enough time or enough experience or to really to know what's going on with this thing. And so I had to wait to get two negative tests before I left to come back, and then I went and gave blood and got checked for the antibodies and things like that, and then donated plasma to help their research. But yeah, it was just it's going to be a long road with this thing, I think, and so the more prepared and the more responsible that we can be, I think that we can hopefully continue to continue with disc golf and hopefully with sports. I mean, the world needs sports, man. It's just one of those things that people need something to be happy about and cheer for right now. And so hopefully that we can create a system that allows us to keep doing some things that bring people some joy and some entertainment for a little while.
So would you say that if someone has been tested that thinks that maybe they could be, would you suggest that person go get tested again in the future?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think I had it is an awful, they've got a lot of different tests, but they use this like 7-inch Q-tip.
Yeah.
And it feels like they're trying to jam it into your brain.
Into your brain. That's what I heard.
I had to do that thing like 20 times over the last 4 weeks, and it might be as bad as the hurt that I was going through at the time. That test, it sucks, man.
That was going to be my.
Think they can't go on further.
That was going to be my next
find a way.
Comment. There was like, dude, I mean, just another testament to all the unknowns about this disease, because there, it's been clearly projected, clearly spoken that people with weakened or compromised immune systems are especially at risk for this. But you're somebody that is consistently exposed to a fairly significantly sized germ pool. So, I mean, as far as like your average people go, you should, I mean, I would imagine you've got an iron immune system. And so, I mean, because that's just part of it, is the more places you travel, the more groups of people you're exposed to, the more your immune system
has a chance
defenses to stuff. But the fact that you got it, because, you and I spoke through text at least like every few days while you were quarantined after the second time. And, I mean, the way you very viscerally and visually described the way you felt, I could definitely picture it, and You mentioned that you might have been a little too cavalier. How has your opinion and your understanding of what's going on this year changed since before you tested positive and now that you've recovered from it?
I think I, I've spoken out on a lot of the forums. Everybody's got an opinion about something right now.
Yeah.
Our country and our
It's
world
an
are dealing
understatement.
with some really serious things, and they're both very serious in very different ways. And it was at first it was I think um, with all the things with George Floyd and Black Lives Matter that have come out, and the protests and the riots and things like that. I've been very much in support of all of that, and like I said, the reality. I put a post up about it. I have a niece who is Ethiopian, and so it's one of she's grown up in obviously with a white family, and grew up in a very different way than most African American people have, and so it hits close to home for me. But the reality is that I am one of the least qualified people ever to really even have an opinion or tell anybody what they should think or feel about this, because I'm not black, and and I support and I love and I want the racial inequality and to stop. But I'm not the person that can lead that. All I can do is stand up and say, I support you, and I'll do whatever I can to help this battle. I migrated through having this virus, and kind of going through this emotional roller coaster for 2 weeks while I was quarantined, of seeing all the things online and watching the news, because I couldn't go anywhere else. I
Yep.
was just inundated with it all day long. And I think as I've come out of this and realized, I've seen people's a lot of times very ignorant opinions or statements, um, about that, and now about what the Pro Tour is doing to help minimize people being infected with this thing, and people have an opinion of it's too much and it's a waste of time. But what the reality is that we don't know. But I can tell you firsthand that the PDJ and the Pro Tour need to be applauded 1,000% for what they're doing. Um, this is something that is due diligence. They're trying to do as much as we can. These players need to be on the road. I mean, a
Yeah,
lot of them
true.
don't qualify for unemployment.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the ability to go get normal jobs, and a lot of them. I mean, Eric and Tina just bought a house.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that need to be out on the road, working and doing what they do best, and we have to find a way to in the smartest and safest way possible try to provide needed entertainment for people that
Mm-hmm.
are at home or that are not working, and other things. So, I support 1,000% what they're doing and the steps that they're taking to keep people safe and aware and cognizant of the things that we're dealing with. And stuff changes every day, and so I hope that later on this year that we have some more freedoms to bring spectators back out and to do some other things. But right now, there's no need to even push the envelope with that. I think we're taking baby steps and doing the exact right thing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we've enacted some pretty unfamiliar and, to us, they feel like pretty restrictive protocols, to get back to playing competitive disc golf. But, the main event that it really becomes an issue where it's not just mainly locals here is Music City Open. And so, we wanted to
Yep.
adopt a policy that would act as an umbrella for all our events all year long. But Music City Open is the tip of the iceberg for us, or the peak of Kilimanjaro. But, the Disc Golf Pro Tour,
Right.
I've seen a lot of people being really critical of the extent that they've taken the whole thing to. But, that's the thing is like if it, the long-awaited goal of having mainstream media coverage of disc golf, there's a couple things that are fresh on my mind because I just did an interview recently with Steve Hill for PDGA Radio because I'm running for the PDGA board, and there was just some things that he asked, really good questions that really got my mind turning. And one of those things is that if we were to have mainstream media attention in the blink of an eye tomorrow, obviously there's going to be more scrutiny on the top level of our sport and how it's administrated. And in a lot of ways, up to this point, it would be seen wanting or lacking in terms of the measures that are typically taken to protect the pro athletes that are doing this as a career or invest in their ability to do it as a career. So, I mean, there are some pretty extreme, seemingly extreme things in the DGPT's policy. Like, I've heard people talking about the possibility of doing like some form of tracking of who you've been traveling with and where you've been, and also encouragement of touring players to travel in groups of a certain size and things like that. Is all of that at that level? Do you feel like it at any point becomes heavy-handed? I mean, considering the fact that we don't know anything, that's been the one consistent since the whole thing started, is we just don't know.
And one thing with it, the tracking part of it, is that I don't think a consistent tracking protocol or program has been created. Government or city or, disc golf, no one has like really figured out how to do the tracking thing itself. Like this is what we'll do. We'll do tracking for you because we know this is where you've been and this is how we do it. There's no this is how we do it so far. They're still trying to figure out how do we do this tracking thing because it's slightly intrusive. You're getting in someone's personal business and you're asking them who they've interacted with. God forbid you've been doing something wrong. You're like, oh yeah, I was dealing with. So, and with that being said, there definitely has to be like certain steps taken forward to have that ability to do tracking itself.
And thank God the Pro Tour is in a spot to be able to provide all of that stuff financially. That's a lot of parts of what's going on right now seem really like almost destiny. Like if it was going to happen, it could. I mean, if it would have happened any other way than it has, it would have been disastrous. But like the Disc Golf Pro Tour is in a place now where they can afford the most expensive measures as far as like testing and things like that, and they can afford to hire people to track data like that and statistics. So, I mean, that's what we need for the top level of the sport, especially for, you're talking about a small percentage of disc golfers that spend their entire, the majority of their time traveling from place to place and being around different people. But I don't want to spend the whole time talking about COVID-19 because that's like what everybody's doing these days. But no, man. I think you're.
I've been doing it for 4 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, but
did it make you cry? At some point did you like break down in tears? Like, oh my god, I'm just finished.
No.
Because I can't say.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Go ahead.
The first few days, like I did, like it was an emotional roller coaster. I knew it. And it's to this point now where
I love you, Mom. I love you, Dad.
When I made the initial post, it was more like it was. I wasn't trying to draw attention to myself. I was trying to be proactive in saying, "Hey,
being proactive.
We need to take it seriously." It'll catch up. To be most of the right thing to stay safe from this thing, and I still came up with it, and so, but I ended up taking it down, within a few minutes, because it was, I think we all know how many likes we usually get on Facebook stuff, and when I got to 500, and I was like, Jesus, like the most popular thing I've ever done was get COVID. You know,
Yeah, dude, that's insane.
but it just got to a place where I was like, okay, maybe this isn't the time. And number one, I didn't have the energy or the ability to respond to all of the messages and the text messages and things that were coming in. And I also was worried about maybe how me saying that I had tested positive could affect disc golf or could affect things that I was doing later this year or in the future,
Yeah.
or my family or their business, And so it was, I waited a few more days, another week or two, I guess, um, and then made another post, and just to let people know that that I was alive and that things were okay. But I've gotten more messages and text messages and thoughts and prayers than anybody in the world ever needs.
That's the best thing about Facebook.
But I'm very appreciative.
Yeah, go ahead.
But it's just the common thread in all of that was almost everyone said, "You're the first person that I know that has this, like that I know."
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it became real to people in a way that maybe people are still think it's conspiracy theory. It's
Well, I kept
it's
seeing those
crazy
posts where somebody's like, I don't know anybody that's actually gotten this disease. Do you? And for me, it was, yeah, I know several people that have gotten it, but you're the only person I know that everybody else knows. So if I say, I do know somebody and he has it, your perspective is powerful because you're somebody that's been in the public eye in the disc golf world for a long time, and a lot of people know you and follow you. And it's one of those, like, the last person you expect to get it kind of things. And it's like, so it kind of lends a platform to you automatically of how how you can influence people's thinking of this. And my biggest thing that I hope everybody takes away from it is, like, just for the simple fact that we don't know anything specific about how this disease works, don't assume that everybody that's around you at any given time shares the same opinions and feelings and beliefs about you. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's like wants to offer their own opinion about how they feel about wearing a mask or being expected to do certain things in certain places. But it's like, how about, just admitting that it's not all about you, and if we're all going to have to make it through this. Yeah.
I think that's, Tyler Sherrill was the one who really, I think, encouraged me. He and Rusko both to really take a more proactive approach to talking about it and telling people, what this experience was like and how, how things went down. But that is, I think that has become the thing that sets me off the most in responding, because I responded to a lot of people's posts about the Pro Tour and trying to be as mild mannered and fair in how I respond to them as I can. But that is the bottom line. Stop making it about you. It's just not about you. Like, there are hundreds of millions of people that are going to be affected by this thing before it's all said and done, and whether it's firsthand or through a relative that was sick or died or someone else that just, we just can't make things about us all the time.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to bite the bullet but just to say that, I had one guy come back and say that it's just not that big a deal because, like, 96% of the deaths are people that are over 70. I was like, so that's an acceptable death to you? Like, because they're old, that's acceptable?
Right.
And to me, that's not acceptable. That's a really callous and horrible thing to say,
Yeah.
And so, that's what my thing is. Just, we all just have to humble ourselves a little bit and accept some semblance of inconvenience to serve the greater good.
Yeah, and especially, and this is, we talked a little bit about everybody looking for something to have an opinion about or something to be upset about, and it's like, people keep trying, and I knew that it would be the case where people would keep kind of trying to test your limits, like especially for those of us, like you and I that are trying to run tournaments and plan events where people are going to be coming together, and
Yeah.
and I have some pretty, I guess, strong opinions about the whole mission versus CYA kind of ratio that needs to be applied in to leadership
Right.
in this time. But a certain amount of CYA is definitely called for here, because whether you're an employee or board member of the PDGA, or you're on the board of a club, or you're just a tournament director, part of protecting what you represent is, now unfortunately being beyond reproach, because people are going to try to test you and see, are you really taking all the necessary measures? And it's already happened a couple times online. Part of our whole policy for our events this year is no players meeting, no awards ceremony, anything like that needs to happen digitally, online, virtually, so on and so forth. And so before our first tee time on Saturday, our first C tier back since suspension, Dr. Hoy and I did a players meeting video. It was a live video to the club page that we shared all over all our platforms, so everybody could, we could just say one time when they checked in for their tee time, just be like, hey, there's a players meeting video on Facebook. And one of the comments, somebody had said social distancing ? And I posted graphics of our social distancing policies or whatever, and they responded with a screenshot of the players meeting video with an emoji of like the shrugging emoji, and because Dr. Hoy and I were sitting within 6 feet of each other.
Yeah.
And on one hand, it's like, I'm beyond reproach. How dare you? That's your immediate knee-jerk emotional reaction. But then it was
Right.
I looked at it, and one thing that you have to kind of get good at in this position is putting yourself in somebody else's shoes and thinking about it from somebody else's side of the table.
True.
And I realized I don't recognize this guy's name. He's seeing something on Facebook. He has no idea what we're doing here. And I, just took the time to point out in a comment that Dr. Hoy is an infectious disease specialist. The Tennessee State coordinator for the PDGA was at the tournament, and that nobody else was there. It was before our first tee time, and that we had full approval from our local and state government, and everybody was being screened, and we were taking all appropriate measures and everything, and they were totally civil after that. It was just like, oh, well, that's good to know and a valid point. And it's like,
yeah,
okay, well, how about we don't just go full red alert every time you see a notification that you got a comment on your post, and how about you just take the time to just communicate like adults? And then social media isn't the problem anymore.
Yeah, and I guess going back to what you said.
Dude, you broke out. I could tell you're saying something hilarious, and you broke up at the worst time possible.
I know, right? Come back. Say it again.
Go ahead, Mark.
Okay, now you're back. You're going to have to repeat everything you just said.
All right. I was going to say, but as a tournament director, after years. Okay. I said, as a tournament director, after years of doing this, that it doesn't matter where you go or what tournament you run, there are always those people. And
Sure.
it could be about your payout. It could be about who you put on their card. People want to bitch. And right now, people are just more triggered than they've ever been, I think, in history. They just want something to fight about. And it is just where we are in the world at this moment, to just and part of me wants to okay, can you guys still hear me? Is anybody talking? Because I can't hear you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I can hear you now.
I can hear you now.
You're kind of coming
perfect.
in and out. You must be getting the weather over there.
Okay, I don't know.
No, but it was great. It was like the first time the podcast has been improved by a bad connection because the Zoom software like drew out this one particular thing you said, and it was so perfect. It was so appropriate. It was like, people just want to be.
But you're right. You're totally right. I think that sometimes I actually go to tournaments and I look for people that's gonna be, and
yeah.
You sometimes, like, if it's local tournaments, you know who's gonna say something obviously off the top. If you go to a local tournament, you know those guys that's gonna be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe we got to play the orange course today," or what have you. And just like I'm gonna go way back to what you said, like way earlier. Because of your platform, you have so many people that like follow you, and when you start getting like responses after responses, you start you actually like get overwhelmed. And I've been I don't have a platform like you, but I've definitely been in a position where I'm like, okay, it's time to take this post down because there's just way too much action on this. And I was literally like, what was okay?
And nobody knows what the rules are anymore.
And I was literally on Father's Day, like waking up in the morning, like texting on Facebook, and like, she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I gotta reply to this guy that's like talking about something I said 4 years ago." I'm like, "Oh my goodness, it's Father's Day. I'm supposed to be out. I'm supposed to be out enjoying myself, having a good day." And I'm like responding to something on Facebook, and like the last second, I was like, "You know what? I'm just gonna take this post down because I got better things to do right now." So. And it's not necessarily I got better things to do, but I got like my things to do right now. I don't have time to like talk to you. And like, it's even more funny. I don't want to go there, but like then I got a phone call. I'm like, really? Is this about the Facebook post? I'm like, it's Father's Day. Let me enjoy my time with my son. I'm gonna cut my phone on airplane mode, and I'll talk to you guys when I get back to Nashville. Okay, I'm on my vacation. I'm gone. So I definitely understand about like taking the post down and being like, okay, please can I breathe for a second and let me live my life and not like talk about it on Facebook for like whatever. Thank you very much for saying that.
No, for sure. Dude, I was laughing so hard because when you're like, okay, you kind of know the guys at home that are those guys.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've adapted, like, because I run tournaments in, most of the states in this country. Mm-hmm. I feel like, did you ever watch the movie Beer Fest?
Oh, yeah. Plenty of times.
Okay, so when they get to the end and they're doing the beer chugging thing, and the guy, he gets the eye of the Jew. He's got the little Star of David in his eye, and they move into like the anchor position.
Yeah.
I feel like as a TD, I can spot those guys that have the eye of the Jew in the crowd before the tournament starts. That's the guy that's gonna bitch.
You like if there's somebody next to you, you start like elbowing them, and you're like, here it comes. Look,
everybody watch my face real quick.
Look, here it comes.
Yeah, this is like you're having a pleasant conversation with somebody. You're looking, I'm like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And then that person enters your peripheral vision, and it's like immediately you go to.
Yeah.
Yep, it's like spider
doubles
sense.
When you get there and like you pick out the one person
that
you're like, man, I really don't want to flip up with that guy.
Yeah. That's the reason we started tag matches.
All right, I'm not going to call out any names, but I did that. It had to be 5 weeks in a row. I literally stopped going to a tournament because I knew that I was going to pick the person. I was like, you know what? God. I can't go today because I know what's going to happen. I'm going to go and I'm going to pull cards, and I'm going to get a 6, and he's going to get 6. I'm like, oh, not again.
Yeah, plus, I mean, with the way it is around here, you show up at doubles. If you don't pick if you don't get flipped for one of 5 people, you got no chance.
Yeah.
Mac and Mike McDaniel got paired up. Oh, it's over.
Cheating. It's rigged.
It's rigged.
But yes, so to move on from that, I know you're out and doing some things, and I don't want to tie you up all night, but there are a couple specific things I'd like to get your thoughts on because, people know you're one of a handful of people that I highly respect your opinion, and I want to hear what you think about certain things. So, obviously, part of the whirlwind that we're reaping in 2020, from murder hornets to COVID-19, this is not in chronological order, clearly, but to, George Floyd and the riots that have broken out all across the country and everything that's proliferating from that. One of those things that's kind of high profile right now being the statement that the PDGA released, the BIPOC statement, acknowledging the disparity between demographics within the sport. That whatever the percentage was that they quoted, that is it's populated by whatever percent white men, and that was another one of the things that Steve Hill asked me in our interview was how would you address that, and I've got some thoughts on it that I shared. Those interviews will be dropping this week on PDGA Radio podcast, but that's I'm curious to see because clearly there are people from these smaller demographics that participate in our sport and our fixtures within it. So it's not about, the argument or the conversation shouldn't be about whether or not disc golf is for other people other than white men, but it's why. Let's really look at why is the disparity there, and why, or what can we do? How can we get past that? How can we, grow the sport among specific demographics? What is the appropriate and responsible approach to doing that? And I'd like to hear your thoughts, JRay. I mean, I know obviously I think the reason that I think this is important to talk about for people in our circle is because, one, nobody wants to talk about it because you have to be so careful in how you word everything when you talk about anything that involves an issue of race. But
I was already sitting here thinking about how I can dance around certain things,
because you don't want to get canceled. You don't want somebody to get triggered and say that you're a bigot or whatever. Right. And people are going to do that anyway. It doesn't matter if all you're talking about is unicorns and rainbows. But I think our
thanks for setting me up for that.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm gonna soften your landing zone just a little bit by also pointing out for the audience, our podcast is part of a unique group of platforms that we do have a person of color that's a part of our group. Yep. But we don't like to draw attention to it too much unless it's really funny because we're just friends, right?
Right, exactly.
We love each other. We're family, and why make it awkward? Why make something that could just be fun and lighthearted? Why make that awkward and deep all of a sudden? But it's an important time. Like if you're waiting for an opportunity to talk about stuff like this and really try to make a difference in how people think about it, what other opportunity? So you have more of a firsthand boots on the ground type perspective on who's actually playing disc golf because you're around the country all year doing it. What's your opinion and your feeling on it?
I'm going to stop him for 1 second. I'm going to jump right in. I'm introducing a segment on our podcast called A Tip of the Day. And I think that the tip should come from you, the first tip on the podcast. And let's try to correlate that tip to what we're talking about right now. How can we get our friends to integrate in disc golf?
Philosophical tip.
Yeah. Give us a tip. JRay, the first ever tip.
Philosophical pro tip.
Music City Disc Golf. Let's go.
Man, I
way to put him on the spot.
I did that, right?
Yeah. Hey, by the way, we're gonna need an immediate cracking an egg of knowledge on everyone.
The way I wanted to do this was, it could be a tip about showing up on time, or it could be a tip about bringing an extra birdie bag, or anything. But we just started on this subject, so.
How would you go about exposing people from different backgrounds to the sport? Yeah, that's a good tip.
I think to me it 1,000% starts in schools.
Okay.
We absolutely, I feel like, have catered more towards suburban white schools when we are going. And in fairness, the suburban white schools are the ones that have money to spend on disc golf equipment. So I think the first method to the madness in that is getting some of the manufacturers involved and targeting where we're not going to a school and going, hey, we need this much of your budget and we'll give you this price point to get these in your schools. And instead going, hey, we're going to donate. Each company is going to donate this many things, and we're going to whether it's through Jay and Dez and their organization, um, or kids disc golf or whoever it is, but finding people that will truly target more inner city schools. That this should be a sport that is has a huge African American population to it, in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
because it is an inexpensive sport.
True.
It does not cost most places to go play. It is in your parks. It's outside, and places like St. Louis, um, early on when they were built, Jefferson Barracks and some of their major courses that have been in the ground and been around for a long time were always in uh, park districts where um, probably a majority black or lower income housing, because those are the parks that the city was willing to give up and allow us to put courses into. And I think that we've always been a very Caucasian sport by nature. Um, I don't think that was I don't think it was ever by design. It was just how it evolved.
Yeah.
And it came from hippies in Southern California,
Mm-hmm.
and so certainly they're not the people that are ostracizing African Americans or any other um, race of people. But to me, I think it's imperative for us to go in, and I think true also, even with our kids, we're seeing more growth with young white people as well in high school playing this sport. But when I was in high school, if somebody had introduced me to disc golf, I'd have been like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah. True.
Like I played football, I played baseball, I played sports that I was soccer that I was trying to go to college to play, and it was going to pay for my way through college. And so disc golf was never going to be like, it might have been something I went out with my friends and goofed around at, but I never would have taken it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that so many young black men are very athletic, and that could be part of that crossing that bridge is going, look, dude, you're a great athlete. You can be great at this.
Yeah.
And this is, like it's true of everything. I mean, look at some of the guys that we have on tour. I mean, Cam Colglazer was an incredible baseball player.
Mm-hmm.
David Wiggins, incredible baseball player. Who's the guy for the Reds that just started playing that has like a 500-foot sidearm?
I heard about that. I
Did
know.
you guys see that video?
I remember what you're talking about. I couldn't remember his name right now, but I know
Yeah, I
exactly
mean,
what
it's
you're talking
like a rocket coming out of his but he's a lefty, I think, relief pitcher for the Reds. But it's like I've athletic specimens do what we do. Like records are made to be broken, and they're all going to get broken at some point. Maybe not Paul and Kenny and the things that they're doing
True.
as an overall career, but like the true innate athletic ability of players, we have not even scratched the surface of what's that's going to look like in 15 or 20 years in the sport. And so I think it's the schools. I think we have to create an edge for disc golf that makes it something that kids want to go do. Like they want to treat it as not even necessarily as a potential career, but just another competitive outlet or not even just another fun outlet to go experience and be a part of. And I used to think that in the States that at Bud Hill at our home course, we have one hand. I mean, it's always been Eric. Was our token black guy. He was our buddy that has been around for longer than I have. And every time a new black person shows up, everyone knows because there are so few. And so it's like, for us, it was like we celebrate it like it's a cool thing. And I always looked at it because, racism is so much more rampant in the South than anywhere else. And so, but in my traveling, that's really not even the case. Like, it's just not we just don't have the numbers of African Americans playing the sport that I would. And so, uh, to me, I think, yeah, I think that the key right now is to, it's a weird dance to try to figure out what to say as far as is this a concerted effort? Do we go like advertise in a different way, or is that offensive to people? I don't know if it would support anything, but I think it has to start in schools for me. Where people aren't so hateful at a time in their life, when they're more open minded and can are still figuring out their way.
And I totally agree with you because I did play in a course in Atlanta. I went down for a Phillies and Atlanta football game, and we made it a whole weekend out of it. And I definitely remember playing at a park where it was something like similar to like a rhyming with karaoke. I can't think of the name right now, but I definitely had a disc from that course, and remembering like this park is great, but it's like right next to a not popular part of town. I wish there were more people out here and enjoying it, because at that point they would like improve the park and make it a little better. And it seems like the North may have tougher skin because people in the South are a little more, I don't know if I'm offending you at all, but up north the people have tougher skin, so it'd be easier up north. Just
no, there's no doubt. I mean, I'm from Chicago. I get it. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just I think we the U.S. is still very. I mean, we're still young, man.
True.
And the things that we're enduring and trying to figure out.
Yes.
It's universal. Like it's not just disc golf. It's just our way of life, and we and I hope that we are at a point in our history that one day we'll look back and go, this was the turning point. This was what the straw that finally broke the camel's back, that we started educating people in a different way and creating a different environment for all of our citizens and all of our people.
It's one thing I've done. Actually, myself, I've gone to a couple different schools to do demonstrations. Antioch Middle School, they had a almost like an accomplishment type thing where if you had good GPA, you had good grades, you could come to the gym and enjoy some drinks, enjoy some snacks, and maybe play some games. And I did a disc golf demonstration there, and I think that attacking schools, not necessarily attacking them, but be going like forthcoming, letting them know how much it costs and how easy it is to get your mom to play with your dog and get your dad to come out with your uncle and getting your grandma to come out. It's just a walk in the park. You can have fun. I love that commercial whenever I see disc golf videos where they're talking about, it's just a walk in the park and you see, Paul and Beth throw the disc. I love that commercial because it's so true. It's so straightforward. That commercial is made perfect because it just shows like how easy it is just to go out with a couple discs and play. Or you can go out with a whole bag full and play with some more professional people. And I love saying like disc golf is like the last sport that you can go pro in. I'm sorry, I can't go pro in football. I can't go pro in baseball. I can't go pro in basketball. I can't do it. Cornhole now. Wow, watch out. Or darts. But yeah, I always say that disc golf is like the last sport that you can go pro in because you can be an athlete and use those skills that you learned in baseball, that you learned in football, that you learned in basketball, and get out and throw a disc as far as you can, and get out and make a great putt, and get out and have a great time. If you're a body lifter, you can get out and play disc golf. What other sport
could you just walk onto the field?
Right.
And it's still so open access. I mean, it's still kind of a niche sport, even though it's growing like crazy. But like, what other sport could you just walk onto the field, promote yourself really well through social media and different kind of media content and stuff like that, and gain a following? I mean, it's really open ended.
Yep.
Couple things from.
I think you look at Eric Oakley is like the perfect example of that.
True.
Eric created his celebrity before he was ever good at disc golf.
Yep.
I mean, he was a 70 rated player driving Simon and Eagle around in an RV and finally did win a big tournament in Seattle. But he went from, I mean, he got a chip on his shoulder because basically UC said he wasn't good enough to put him on team. And so we talked a lot, and we've been good friends for a while. And I was like, dude, come play for us. And talked to Dixon and Rusko, and we put him on team. And a year later, he was a 1,015 rated player because he had this chip on his shoulder. But he had created this, and a lot of that was part of him being with Simon Eagle. But his personality, obviously, you know, love him or hate him, he's in your face. He's going to be there because he's constantly putting out content and keeping his name in his face.
Yeah, like even if he's not in your face, he's in your head.
If he's not in your head, he's in the water.
Right. Yeah. Or in the water.
I still have nightmares about him.
I couldn't wait, dude. I was like, oh, come on. Dad joke.
It's so funny, man. Like, I still remember watching that on the coverage and, like, being like, okay, that's every player's worst nightmare and every media coverage provider's, like, media wet dream. Like, let me please catch one of these guys fishing for their disc during lead card.
Oh, man. That became meme of the year for a little while.
Dude, I've got so many memes still saved on my camera roll on my phone from all that. Literally like 35 epic memes from that. The disc golf community really came together for the team on that one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I feel like the disc golf community always comes together when it is making fun of someone.
See, like, that's the thing. We just need more funny people.
That's our universal language.
Yeah. We just need
just a bunch of sarcastic assholes.
Yeah. We need to broadcast more conversations like this that everybody can, you know, find cheeky and get a chuckle out of, because then they won't be so dang hostile and looking for a reason to fight on Facebook. That's the magic cure right there. But yes, so
I want to circle back to something real quick.
Yeah.
Back to trying to get African Americans or other ethnicities involved. I think the simplest version of that is us going and inviting our friends to come play disc golf.
Yeah.
Because until we make it something that is cool or accepted or exciting to other cultures, other ethnicities, it's throwing sand against the wall.
Essentially, it's like
we've got to find a way to get more people involved to create a level of comfort for other African Americans to go, oh, there are other black people that play disc golf, so I can go play disc golf, or other Hispanics or other, you know, whatever it is. But we have to, you know, we are far and wide, in my opinion, the most inclusive,
absolutely
genuine, open-minded, open-hearted sport that I've ever been involved in. It is the, you know, whether it's Nashville or Memphis, or I've been all over this country playing disc golf in every state, and it's just a welcoming bunch of people. You know, as long as you're not a D-bag, and honestly, we still let them in too. So
even if you have your moments,
yeah, but it is far and wide the most open armed sport I've ever played, and I think that we have to set a standard and actively pursue inviting people of color into this sport to give and help them establish a level of comfort with it.
For me, it's like word of mouth. You know, if you're trying to make a business, you can do really, really great word of mouth. So if I'm out playing disc golf and I let my friend know I'm playing disc golf, I'm like, oh, cool. And then somebody asks about, like, hey, what's Marcus doing today? Oh, he's playing disc golf. Like, oh, well, how come I'm not playing disc golf too? Right. You know, hopefully it works that way. You know, word of mouth like travels really well.
When Steve Hill asked me about this, because I thought, you know, when I did my candidate interview with Steve for PDJ Radio, I thought he asked a lot of really good questions. And I'm sure that he got really tired of asking them over and over and over again as he spoke to 17 candidates for the PDGA board. But he did ask me one question, and I'm glad that it was him that asked me that question, because it's something that I had thought about, but I definitely hadn't prepared an answer for it. And he was the mind behind the BIPOC statement that the PDGA released. And in my heart, I know that disc golf is not exclusive, and it's not excluding anybody from these smaller or underrepresented demographics. The problem is that either people from these communities are not aware of disc golf, or when they've seen it, it has not been presented in a way that's appealing to them. And and I told Steve, it's like at some point, it's like when I try to invest in the women's side of things here in Nashville. I can say till I'm blue in the face that it's safe and comfortable for women to come out and play. We want you to come out and play. We're going to provide a good space for you to for you to enjoy this, and for you to have the same kind of experience that we do. But my Y chromosome gets in the way. And, if it's not coming from a woman, it only does so much good, and it's only so well received. And in the same way, people of color and white people, even though we're fully capable of seeing the value in each other and having meaningful relationships, and even though clearly we have a ton of people that are from these smaller demographics that participate in our sport and are a part of our family and our community, it is mostly white guys that are playing. And when you look at coverage, or you look at a podcast, or you look at, any kind of media offering around the sport, you're seeing white guys. And some girls now too. Hannah's been doing a lot of stuff, and more women are starting to get involved in the media side of things, which is awesome, and I think should be more of. But particularly, I think that if we're going to try to reach out more to those demographics, then the people from those communities need to be the ones creating the content. I speak a different cultural language. My life experience speaks to a certain set of preferences and interests that is not necessarily universal. I like things that other people don't, but that's just human.
I like what I like.
So, I think that's the answer, is to, seek out the members of our family that are from those demographics and give them a little bit of a hand in pushing this sport out and growing it and making it interesting, because it really is beneficial to everybody, no matter what your background is. So, but soapbox time can be over. I know you want to go enjoy your evening, and we've got some stuff coming up.
I got one more question. Do you guys think that geographically, where disc golf courses are located, like in Memphis, we had 2 courses that got installed within the last, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 years, that are both out of the ground now, but that were in predominantly black neighborhoods, not the safest neighborhoods by far. But do you think that there is a correlation between, like, I think about, like, they got pulled out because people weren't going.
Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't go there to play. And so I think about my life in places that I've been. Like, there were clubs that I didn't go to growing up, or that I didn't go to in college, because I was the minority, and my own insecurity, or I don't know, maybe it was less than or more than that, kept me away from that. Where I also think that the same is true of African American people in some circumstances in their own world. Like, there are places that they go, yeah, I don't want to go there because I'm or I don't, I don't fit in there, or I don't, blah blah blah, whatever it may be. Like, how do we cross that threshold? Like, do you think that contributes to some of this? Like, because African American people don't see African American people playing disc golf, that they're going, yeah, no.
You never know what's fun until you do it. I went horseback riding this weekend. Didn't know it was fun. It's freaking fun.
How sore are you?
Oh man! As soon as I got off the dude, I'm so glad you said that. As soon as I got off the horse, I was sore. Like, as soon as, like, thighs from hip to knees were sore, like, for real.
Oh,
I was looking around like, okay, are you sore too? Are you sore too? Because I'm sore. And I guess, like, just like you said, like, the presentation, people don't know what's fun until you do it. Like all of a sudden Nashville, they got axe throwing. There's a couple places where you can go axe throw. You know, people didn't think that
Yep.
was fun until you did it. You know, until they did it.
Right.
And you know, some things you see on TV, what I would think would be fun, some people may not think it's fun. Like I've seen that show Forged in Fire, where they're making knives.
Yeah.
I've never done it before.
Yeah.
But that looks fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Man
oh
things.
man, oh man, things. Yeah.
No, no.
I want to hammer it and make
Well,
something. You know.
how about this too? I mean, you think about it, and this is the harsh nature of the reality that makes this necessary to talk about, is the fact that for those of us that are fortunate enough to be white men, we don't ever have to look at a gathering of people or a group of people that we don't know and wonder if we're welcome or not. You know, like we're on pretty universal pretty universal ground. You know, it could be anything. We can present ourselves in a way where it's comfortable, but you can't make that assumption as a black person.
No.
You can't make that assumption as a woman. You
Yeah.
can't make that assumption as a person of color or an indigenous person. You can't look at any random gathering. I mean, I'll say this as a qualifier outside of disc golf, because I don't care what you look like. If you're on a disc golf course, you're among friends.
You're
if
amongst
you're a disc
friends.
golfer. But
Yeah.
in general life, you know, life experience, you have a much different kind of perspective on walking through a park and seeing a gathering of people that maybe you need to walk through to get to your disc than I do.
Yeah.
And
True.
so, as your random person of color on the street, maybe out for a jog and runs by a disc golf course, and all you see are white people, even if it looks interesting or like something that you might enjoy, you're maybe not 100% likely to go seek it out or talk to one of those people and
Right.
introduce yourself. And that is the really unfortunate thing, is that we have the way that we approach people of these outlying demographics is that we understand that their experience is different than ours. And we have to, you know, white guys are just going to be drawn to disc golf. It's a white guy kind of thing. I mean, it's an everybody kind of thing, but it's Frisbees, and like
Frisbees.
long-haired white guys are going to be like, yeah, bro. But it's not necessarily that, you know, engaging at first glance for anybody of other backgrounds. But once, you know, you try it and you experience a community, it's like we have to do more, just in general.
Yeah.
We have to be more intentional and active in reaching out to those people.
It's like you need to have a shirt on that says, "Disc golf is fun. I'm friendly. Come and ask me why." But then don't have that shirt on, but say it with your face. You know, say it with your actions. You know, if you see somebody looking around like, "Hey, we're playing disc golf," you know, and then try to like gauge them to like ask a couple questions. Because I'm pretty sure you have too. I've been at hotels and somebody walk up to me like, what are you guys doing outside? I'm like, oh, this is disc golf. Oh, what is disc golf? And you start explaining to them and you start talking, and like 3 or 4 minutes later, you're like, oh man, I just like explained the sport of disc golf to somebody new, and they may actually go out and, you know, play it.
Yeah.
That's cool. You know, if we had that same, go ahead.
You know, one of my favorite like recurring experiences is always with like young children. Because when I go practice, I don't go practice with my friends. I don't go practice with touring players. I go practice and to formulate my game plan, to be mentally to kind of focus beforehand. And so, you know, that's me time. That's me time to be away. But I constantly come across, you know, people on walking paths, and it's always like the little girl, the little boy that sees a disc for the first time. And they're going, like, you see it in their eyes, like, I want to go pick that up. I want to go pick that up. Like, I want to go. I saw what he did. I want to go pick it up. And the parents are like, no, come over here. And like, I love that moment of interaction where you go, hey, come here. You want to throw it? Mm-hmm. Like, and then they come over and they throw, and they're like, oh my goodness. And like, it turns into this 10-minute conversation that is like the best 10-minute break from the mental warfare that's going on in my head trying to prepare for a disc golf tournament. But I don't care what color you are or where you come from. I've had that experience with every ethnicity that we have in this country, and it's always the same. Like I think there are some, and I don't think it has anything to do with ethnicity. There are some people that are more reserved, like going, you're a stranger that's walking up to my child, even though I'm right here with them, like wooing them to come. But it always takes a positive spin, and it's just one of my favorite interactions with people, and that's why I'm always such an advocate for getting kids involved. Even though kids are a huge inconvenience on the course.
Well, usually it's their parents. Let's be real. Usually it's their parents.
Yeah, right. It's like Marcus said. If you put on that face and have a face and an attitude that is inviting to people, you could kill anybody with kindness and pull their heartstrings and get them to find, even if it's not a passion for disc golf, a passion for a person that their joy with you for a moment, and so I think that's definitely a very important and like just positive mindset that we need to impress on each other and on our friends and peer groups and fellow disc golfers. The more that we actively pursue kindness and gentleness and sharing what we're passionate about, the more successful we are.
Absolutely.
I think I'm gonna start bringing a giveaway disc in my bag. I'm gonna keep one disc just in case I see somebody new, and I'm like, hey, you know what? That's for you, buddy.
Yeah, I've done that for a long time.
I stole this from McCabe a couple of years ago. Yeah. But anytime, I stop randomly at courses all the time, because if I go to the course that I'm supposed to be at and try to play 3 hours before I'm supposed to run a doubles or whatever, you're never going to get to go play. There's always going to be 18 other people that are like, hey, they see your RV because they know it's supposed to be coming. So I stop at a different course and go play. But McCabe always used to sign one. He'd sign an EMAC Truth like all the time, and then hide it in the bushes or hide it in a tree and leave it, and just leave some positive note on it or whatever it is. But it's truly one of the fun. Like it's a fun thing for me to get the Facebook message from somebody that found one of my discs that I left out there. Just to hey man, this is a great disc. Somebody, if you find it, it's yours. Enjoy it. But and obviously I have access to a lot of frisbees, so it helps. But
I'll send my address after this is over, okay? Just in case you want to send a couple to my place.
No, you don't want to do that. He writes really inappropriate things on packages that he sends through the mail. Let me just let everybody know that. I had a really big laugh on my front porch. A really awkward moment between me, my wife, and the mailman. I'll just leave it at that. Got him.
Hey, still laughing. Did you get that thing worked out yet, or what?
Well, I mean, thankfully, you wrote it in the return address, so it was, it was like, or whichever way you wrote it, it was like it wasn't coming from me. So, or it was coming from me, and I already got it worked out. So how's that blow your mind?
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So, man, believe the hype. Birdie Fuel. That's where it's at.
I love it, actually. It's really good.
So you just ran one of my favorite events that I used to come to every year before I did what you do. And the Me and Clint. And for those that don't know, the Me and Clint is an awesome event where it's very similar to like a Clint handicap that we've played here in Nashville before, where everybody on the field gets an extra stroke or an extra shot on every hole. So it's an amazing event. Part of the cool thing about it, too, is every year you get a different beautiful Dimax disc with a picture of Clint Eastwood on it, as you can kind of see on the screen right now. But you mentioned briefly when we first got you on the air that you may have been biting off a little more than you could chew. What was it? What was your experience like with your first event back on the road?
I didn't have a clue what to expect. We didn't, with all that's going on, we didn't know how many people we would end up having. We did pre-registration, but Memphis folks don't love pre-registration.
Same in Nashville. Same Z's.
They're
We
getting
forced
better.
our hand on them this time, though.
Oh goodness, you're so
Yeah.
right.
Thank you, COVID-19.
But,
I knew you were about to say that.
yeah.
Hey, real talk. Let's keep it on the low. I know I'm probably going to get roasted on Facebook for saying this.
Roast them now,
But
guys. Don't wait.
COVID-19 may have just been the best thing that ever happened to disc golf.
As far as
There's a lot of unfortunates. There's a lot of unfortunates, like my good friend JRay getting COVID-19 and being on the brink of death for a month. But I finally got to say pre-registration only, no day of sign-ups. We're doing tee times. This thing is finally going to run smooth. And there was no other way to do it without blowing everybody's minds than having to do it just to keep the government in approving. So anyway, that's end of rant. Mic drop.
Mike has been dropped.
No, but yeah, it was I was it's been a whirlwind for the last 10 days of me getting first negative test, and then but still like knowing that I am not anywhere close to 100%. I feel fine for the most part. I don't have energy. I mean, taking the shower is still some work, and so I just get tired really easily, and so I knew going into it that I had no intention of playing, but a couple of my buddies that I think James Lacey and Canadian Mike had been hitting me up to make sure we were on the same card the first round. Going, Jamie says I'm not playing. Like I haven't played in 3 months, and I'm not I don't even think I can. And I just need to, I'm going to focus on my energy on running the tournament. Well, I got guilted into playing. I was like, okay, I'll just play the first round, and I'll play with you guys, and then I'll just withdraw and finish doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And then I was actually 1 stroke out of the lead after the first round, and so they talked me into playing the second round, and ended up winning. But it was we ended up with 104 players. There were some. It's always a great time. It's a great fun event, super casual, and it's I bet there were 60 people there I didn't personally know, which is weird. Not normal in Memphis for me not to know at least 80% of the people that are around. But it was great. We had a big crowd. There were some frustrations on my end, because you can tell people till you're blue in the face, hey, let's maintain social distancing practices and do the things that are necessary. But you still have people huddled up in groups of 20 and, doing their thing. And I can only do so much, and I don't know that it's my place or my within my authority to go say, hey, break it up. But hopefully we'll get better at that. And then so we weren't under the same mandates necessarily as PJ events would be.
Yeah.
But no, it was a great time. I realized today that it feels kind of like when you go to the gym. Like the first day you come out and you're like, oh, I feel it. I feel a little sore. But then that second day, you're like, whoa,
No.
like I'm hurting.
We had
today was that day. Yeah.
We had a comedian in town recently. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go.
We had a comedian in town recently, D.L. Hughley. Played at Zanies.
Yeah.
And just like you said, he didn't think that fatigue was a part of COVID-19, but he passed out on stage, And then I watched
I heard that story on the news today.
Yeah, and then he got on Instagram, Twitter. I don't know which one he was. I was just checking it out, and he was talking that oh, it's nothing. I was fatigued. I was just like dehydrated. This, that, and the other. And then I watched CNN, and CNN's talking about D.L. Hughley, and I was like, that was definitely COVID-19 because it's definitely one of the symptoms. And hearing you say it reiterates how some people just don't know what the symptoms are.
Yeah.
You know, because he's like on his Instagram, Twitter. He's like, oh, I was just this, I was just that. I was just tired. Like, no, that was a symptom of COVID-19 that knocked your ASS out.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
And now Zanies is
Yeah.
closed.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
What?
Yep. Who knows when they'll be able to open back up? But it's like it's part of that whole thing. They opened up the gates for like phase 2 of the reopening, and then
Yep.
they paused it. Like, well, wait.
Yep.
So
He shut it down.
we'll see.
I was reading a story about Tom Hanks and his wife very early on in this.
Yep.
Were in Australia and both tested positive.
Yeah.
And I was watching an interview with him, and he was talking about, he had been symptom free for like 10 days or so, and obviously, it's Tom Hanks. He's probably having pretty serious medical attention on call all the time because he has that ability to do that. But he said he had gone out and just done some body weight exercises on the back porch, like for 10 minutes, just because he'd been feeling a little better and he wanted to go try to kind of get back into the swing of what his normal routine was. And he ended up on the couch for 3 days.
Yeah.
That. And the doc is going to be a thing. Like it will take months for you to get back to full strength. And that's, I don't think anybody truly knows, but even the stuff with George Floyd, where he was diagnosed in January, I think, with COVID, and his post-death autopsy, they've still found traces of, I think, yeah. And so, I think it is. There's no doubt that that it is very taxing on your body, and I think obviously it being so hot and aspects of dehydration, and I'm pounding water all day long and still not able to feel like I was very normal, but I definitely did too much. Shouldn't have played. I'm glad I did. I enjoyed getting to play disc golf. I've missed that tremendously. But yeah, it was today. I definitely realized that it was a poor decision on my part, and so I'm going to pair up with my homeboy over there in the headphones and play some doubles, I think.
Me and him got to do Rochambeau now to figure out which one of us get to be your partner.
Oh, Rochambeau.
Oh,
that's a.
You guys definitely have a better chance of winning than he and I would.
Nutty game to play, bro.
Yeah, well, let's mention that real quick. So this coming weekend, you'll be making a trip up to Ogwood. Welcome back. Thank you. Woohoo! Celebrate.
Yeah, come on down.
Favorites.
Yeah, it's going to be good to have you back. It's going to feel like old times. So you're seeing on the screen now, this is the flyer for Socially Distanced at Ogwood on Saturday, June 27th, this coming Saturday. I didn't get the flyer for the dubs, but it looks pretty much the same, except it says dubs and June 28th. Because Saturday is singles and Sunday is doubles, and registration for both is live at Disc Golf Scene. And dubs on Sunday is bring your own partner, so you can register for your team. It's $40 per team. Singles on Saturday, $30 per player. Tell them a little bit more about the format, JRay. How are we doing this?
So singles is going to be just a flex start. We want to try to keep people as safe and comfortable as we can, and still be we're doing. But we're going to do it as a flex start instead of tee times, so that you guys can kind of bring your own foursome if you would like. If you don't have a foursome, you can show up and we'll get you in the first available group out. But obviously we want to keep people from we don't mind you congregating and hang out and doing your thing, but just be wise and smart about how you're interacting with people.
And courteous.
Doubles,
yes,
and courteous for sure. Doubles also, on registration for doubles, I'm not sure what I did, but evidently people were signing up and it was charging them twice, because they would sign up and then their partner would sign up.
Gotcha.
So if you were signing up for doubles, just one of you sign up. As long as your team name is on there and your partner's name is on there, honestly, we don't even need your partner's name. As long as you show up with your partner and I got your team name, we're good to go on that. So it's $40 per team, not $40 per player. But we're going to be doing, I think it was the first round was straight best shot doubles, and the second round was a 6-6-6 of best shot, alternate shot, and combined score.
Woo!
Wow.
My mind just got blown right there. Best shot,
Complicado.
alternate shot, and top score.
Bring your A game, guys.
Combined.
Bring your math game too while you're at it.
I refuse to do worst shot because I reserved that for Alco's doubles at Dogme, and that's the only time of the year that I ever want to play worst shot doubles.
Yeah, I mean you're kind of you have to, you're kind of forced to by proxy at Voodoo Dubs. So
yes.
well, man, I can't wait to see you, and I know you're out and about with some people tonight, and you want to enjoy the rest of your evening. And we've already done probably pushing an hour and a half.
I'm not. I'm home.
Oh, okay.
I canceled those plans about noon. I'm good.
Speaking of biting off more than you can chew.
Yep.
Get some rest, bro.
I am. I gotta. Yeah.
But yeah, dude. I mean, to reiterate and revisit, I am grateful that you're okay, and don't ever scare me like that again, my friend.
I will do my best, brother. I appreciate all of the love and support and the prayers and the good vibes and everything that people were sending on my behalf, and it was a very humbling experience, but I am definitely happy and grateful to be on the mend and doing much better and getting to continue to do something that I'm so passionate about. I'm stoked to get to come up and spend a few days with you and Marcus and some of the other guys, and hopefully we'll see Doc and Joseph and some of the other crew out there. But yeah, but thank you guys so much. I always love being a part of your podcast and of your club. You guys, you know how proud I am of you and all of the just insane positive steps you guys have taken as a collective over the last few years. It is it's truly in my opinion, one of the best run clubs in the country by far. There are not many people in your company, and I'm very grateful to be your friend and to be involved in any capacity with you guys. So thank you for that.
We need to send him a shirt from the Sapphire Lounge or something. Oh man, you feel that too?
As soon as we have a Sapphire Lounge T-shirt, he gets the first.
He gets the first.
Sure. Yeah. We'll see what size he needs if he put on the COVID-19 or not this weekend.
Dude, that was awesome. Thank you.
But yeah, dude.
I lost the COVID-15 the first week.
Right.
But yeah. I'm slowly getting it back.
Good. Well, yeah, dude, I love you, and as always, thank you for taking the time to join us, and thank you for your insight and your deep thoughts. And it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Always some of my favorite conversations, and I can't wait to get to have a couple face to face with you this weekend. So,
mast to mast.
Yeah, mast to mast. Socially distanced. Remember. Socially distanced at Ogwood, everybody. One more time on the screen. Socially distanced at Ogwood this weekend, both days. Singles on Saturday, BYOP doubles on Sunday. And get signed up and come join us for a big hangout at Ogwood. Yep. Anything else you want to finish up with, JRay?
No, love you guys. Everybody vote for Will.
Thanks, buddy. We love you, dude. We'll see you this weekend. Thanks once again.
Cheers, boys. I'll see you soon.
See you.
See you, homie.
Later.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was JRay. And one of my dearest friends and biggest influences. And just a awesome dude all around. So glad that he's all right. So glad we get to hang out with him this weekend. And on that note, it's been about an hour and a half so far into the podcast, and we haven't yet gotten to do the weekly breakdown.
Break it down, please.
Our approach is a little bit disjointed, but I think a little bit of a bathroom break, maybe a little trip to Tinkletown might be in order for the both of us, and then we can come back, get right into the weekly breakdown, some current events coming up, talk about all the aces you guys hit this week, and do a little quick recap of Seven Oaks Summer Solstice. But we'll be right back after these brief messages.
BRB. Finish strong. Last
Boom.
3 holes on the tournament. Try to birdie out. Finish strong.
Yep. Finish with birds. All right, guys. So, yeah, we're doing this a little out of order from what we normally do. We didn't get a chance to get into the weekly breakdown before we got JRay on the show because he was waiting and I didn't want to take up his whole evening. So let's get right into the good stuff. And, you know, all this talk about coronavirus and all this other things, but there's a new fever that's taken hold here in Nashville, and that's ace fever. 9 total aces this week that I know of.
Watch out.
So we're going to do our best to hold off on getting into any of them until after we've gotten through the breakdown, even though a couple of them did happen at weekly events. But I've got a little slideshow put together so we can golf snap and celebrate all them aces. So starting on Saturday, Seven Oaks doubles at 2 o'clock in the afternoon with Dr. John Williams. That is a 2 o'clock round, and the ace pot, I believe, is currently around $50. Could be a little higher than that. I don't think I got an update from him today. So 50 or above at Seven Oaks afternoon doubles Saturdays. So get you some money.
Get you some money.
On Sunday, we've got, starting off in the morning, we've got Seven Oaks Sunday singles at Seven Oaks with Q-Tip, which you can see here on your screen. All kinds of details there. I believe the ace pot there is currently rocking at about $200. So get you some money. It's 9 o'clock round every Sunday morning, 8:30 sign up, 9 o'clock tee. And go get you some money on that one. And then also on Sunday, we've got Cane Ridge random draw doubles, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, currently on a bring your own partner format. So just get with Robert Zavala, shoot him a message with your team name, division, all that information, and he'll get you a tee time. But you can see here, details, it's $20 per team. They'll be on Big Daddy Cane coming this Sunday. So get you some money. Did I mention that there's a $200 ace pot on the line? So get you some money.
Get you some money.
Get you some money. And then moving into Monday night, we've got Squamcher's Ferry doubles with Russell Hammond and Derek Rowland, and that's about a 5:30 round. Ace pot currently rocking at $288, which they're out there fighting for right now, Monday night. So, on Mondays, please go out and see Sanders Ferry Park. Show them some love. Get you some money.
Get you some money.
Tuesday night, we've got Seven Oaks random draw doubles with David Griffin, and I want to take a moment just to say thank you to David Griffin for everything that he's done for Nashville Disc Golf for the last 15-plus years. He has taken a step back from his administrative duties and wants to enjoy himself and play a little golf, and I completely applaud that decision. I think he definitely deserves to take a little bit of a break. So Dr. John and Mike McDaniel and some of the other locals are going to be taking up the slack from David Griffin and keeping the Tuesday night doubles rocking. $200 ace pot, get you some money. 5 o'clock, Tuesday night, Seven Oaks. And then moving into Wednesday night, we've got the Wednesday night tag extravaganza. And Dr. Hoy is the man in charge there these days. That's every Wednesday night at Seven Oaks, 5 o'clock. You can get there, probably we're getting there around 4:30, getting things rolling. We were trying to send out groups of 4 as they arrived, but everybody was still hanging out to the end to get their tags and stuff, so we've been able to continue doing that without putting anybody at risk and still reasonably adhering to social distancing protocols. So, basically, last group's going to go out at 5:30, and then everybody's coming back and hanging out in the parking lot until we can hand out tags. That's what's going on. And then also on Wednesday night, we've got Cedar Hill Random Draw Doubles with Billy Fowler and company. Don't know what the ace pot is there, but they got one. 5 o'clock round. Get you some money. Henry Horton doubles also on Wednesday night, and they just had an ace smashed on one of their bounty holes. So I believe they're down one bounty. Should be 2 or 3 left, plus hole 12, $330, and the others should be at $268. Jeez, get you some money. Get you some money already.
Come on, get that money.
Yep. Philip Dixon I don't have a picture of this one in the slideshow. So, yes, want to shout out and give some golf snaps to Philip Dixon for hitting a $286 ace, hole 7 at Henry Horton. Nicely done, sir.
It's about time.
Yeah, the show. And then Thursday night, we've got Thursday random draw doubles with Lance Kirby and company at White House. And that is a 5 o'clock round, and Ace Pod is currently at $165. Get you some money. That's the backup because they had one smashed on Thursday, which we'll get into in just a second.
New baskets. Go check them out.
Yep. And also forgot to mention Monday night Sharp Springs doubles, 5 o'clock also, and Thursday night Barfield doubles. Friday night we've got the weekend kickoff with Jordan Webster, and they are going to be going to Seven Oaks this Friday night, playing 21 holes, silver baskets where available. Ace Pod is currently down to $25 after Jacob Jansen hit it again for like 50 plus on this past Friday night. So people are getting them some money. Why are you not getting you some money?
Because I can't hit an ace.
Can't hit ace. Well, that's a bummer.
Or I can't win. One of the two.
You could do both. I have faith in you. So, yeah, that is everything that's going on. Let's check out some of these aces, man. Boom. We've got Andrew Pritchett. Forget what day this was, but he went out on a casual round at Cedar Hill and hit 2 aces in the same round. One on hole 10 and one on hole 16. So, golf snaps to Andrew Pritchett.
Golf snaps. I've played that course I don't know how many times, and I can't even hit the basket.
I feel like I might have been saying Pritchard, and I think it's Pritchett. So, yeah, Andrew Pritchett.
Yeah.
Yep.
His first 2, right?
Yeah, first 2 aces ever.
In one day.
Both in the same round. Yeah. So it was a pretty good one. Also, we've got K-Man. I believe he smashed hole 8 silver at Seven Oaks with his B-Love Warden. I think it's a Warden. He might be throwing judges. I'm on a Warden. I think he's on a judge. But we got the same putters. His is blue, mine's pink. But golf snaps for K-Man on that ace at Seven Oaks. And then moving on, we've got Chris Harris hitting hole 8 orange at Seven Oaks the other night. Golf snaps to Chris Harris. Snap, snap, snap. Very nice. Nice that ace. Nice. Also, we've got Brad Vincent hitting hole 3 silver with a skip forehand. And that's pretty sweet. Congratulations. Golf snaps to Brad Vincent.
Golf snap. Tough shot. Great.
Jacob Jansen hitting hole 17 at Naval Hill on Friday night during the weekend kickoff. Golf snaps to Jacob. That's a nice ace. And we've also got Colin Stetler. Thank God I remembered his name.
Is it the same hole?
No, this is hole 19. This is the basket that we just poured new concrete for 2 Saturdays ago. But yeah, he got him a nice little ace on hole 19 at Naval Hill. And this one was one of 2 that were actually captured on video. So at about now, I'm going to put a video of Colin's ace. Not then, but now. And so, yes, congratulations. Golf snaps to Colin Stetler for his ace on hole 19 at Shelby. And also, this is Kenny Smith. Yep, Kenny Smith at White House random draw doubles with Lance Kirby, getting him a $300 ace on hole 11B. This was his first time playing doubles. He helped install the pin position. Good dude. Congratulations on your ace. Let's nice that ace. Nice. Golf snaps.
Very nice.
And last but most certainly not least, this is a good karma ace that we had out at Seven Oaks Summer Solstice on Saturday. This was Kyle Batten, one of our most committed podcast fans and most dedicated disc golf volunteers in the Nashville area. He is constantly out giving of his time freely to give back to the disc golf community, and I was so stoked to be able to pay him out for his beautiful ace on hole 4. It was captured on film by a combination of Jeff Snyder and Jordan Webster. And so right here in just a minute when I do the chop action thing with my hand, I'll put a video of Kyle smashing that ace right there.
That's an ace run, Kyle. Good.
Yeah!
Oh, that's awesome.
That's a tournament ace.
Awesome.
Over here, Kyle.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Looking good, dude. Let's go.
And, yeah, super stoked for everybody that hit an ace. What is in the water around here?
Ace money.
Ace.
They get excited when they see that huge ace pot, and they think to themselves, you know what? Why not go for it?
Yeah, why not, right? Get you some money.
Get all the money. If it's there, just go for it.
So, we talked a little bit on the air with JRay about this coming weekend. We've got some stuff going on out at Ogwood. Woo woo! Everybody loves to go back to Ogwood. Going back to Ogwood. And JRay's going to have the DDRV out there for 2 days. We're going to do socially distance at Ogwood on June 27th, Saturday, $30 per player, flex start singles. And then the next day, we will do socially distanced doubles. Bring your own partner doubles. $40 per team. Registration for both of these is live on Disc Golf Scene. Go get signed up. $40 per team. You're signing up for your team on Sunday. So that's exciting. Also, coming up on July 4th. There we go. Here's the picture. Boom. Independence dubs, you guys. Bring your own partner doubles. $40 for an AM team, $80 for a pro team. We've got some sweet discs coming in for this, and we're playing at White House. Get it? Independence doubles, 4th of July, White House, red, white, and blue veteran baskets. Come get you some money. Overwhelming, for sure. And then the next day, July 5th, Sunday, July 5th, we've got our event 6 in our bag tag series at Naval Hill. And we just did a bunch of work out there, and it's looking primo. So get excited for that on July 5th. Also, right around the corner from that, the very next weekend, we've got our straight out of quarantine weekend at Ogwood. And this is going to be a whole lot of fun. Another 2 days at Ogwood. Saturday, the makeup date for the 6th annual All Good at Ogwood. Sunday, our makeup date for event 3 in our bag tag series. So registration for both of these is on Disc Golf Scene. Get signed up. As you know, for our all MCDG events this year, it's pre-registration only. No day of signups. Tee times. So get signed up or forever hold your peace. And that's how that works. Also coming up on July 25th, we've got it's a new experimental event. I talked a little bit about it on Facebook. Our friend Andrew Lamont, who came to us from Virginia, they do a cool club challenge tournament there that he would like to bring to Tennessee, but he doesn't have a whole lot of experience running events, so we're helping him out, and he's going to do a smaller local version on July 25th called the Battle of Music City, just a team challenge tournament with a new unique format of match play involved. 7 players per team. It's capped at 84 people total. Information for that is on Disc Golf Scene. And we are also going to be working on getting some cool stuff for that event. So get ready for that on July 25th. And also I want to say real quick, happy Father's Day to you, Marcus, to Jay.
Thank you.
To all the dads out there. Coming up soon, we're going to be announcing a fundraiser event. You guys all know our former operations officer and new course captain at Two Rivers, Zach Evans. His dad was recently diagnosed with cancer, and so we are going to be doing some things to help him with fundraising for his dad's medical bills. So stay tuned for that. And I also want to say, to end the updates on a happy note, let's see here. Where's the picture? A couple of our good friends here in the Nashville area disc golf community, David Wiley Nelson and Carolyn King Lux, got engaged over the weekend. So we want to say big congratulations to the happy couple. I remember at the Wednesday night putt extravaganza, our winter putting league, one of the nights that David was out there, and she was off putting, and he was standing with me up on the stage, and he just had this big smile on his face just watching her, and he was like, I'm going to marry that girl.
Wow.
And he called it, and it's happening. So congratulations, Golf Snaps.
Congrats.
To David and Carolyn.
He always has interesting socks on.
Yeah, he's got good sock game. It's like him and Alpo are on another level with the sock game.
Maybe she saw his socks and was like, you know what? I like those socks. I like you. Let's get married.
Could very well be. Very well be.
Or not. He's just a suave guy, and I just have no clue.
I mean, he's definitely a good dude. I'm very fond of David,
Sure.
and we've been friends for a while. And he's he's a fixture in the Nashville area disc golf community. He is he's been on the board for MTDGA. He's helped out with Duck River Disc Golf and the stuff going on at Henry Horton. He's been involved with Muletown, and he's a friend of ours, and he's been a guest on the podcast before. So, super happy for David and Carolyn. That is some hard-earned good news this year. So it's nice to point that out every once in a while that there's happy stuff happening. Stoked.
Good news is good news.
It's good news for everybody.
Okay.
And it's already been a long episode tonight, you guys, so we're not going to drag it out too much. I want to talk a little bit about what we did on Saturday, the 2020 Seven Oaks Summer Solstice, sponsored by Dynamic Discs. I made a really long post on Facebook today, but, dude, this was definitely one for the books. Very well could be the best tournament I've ever been a part of. Could not have gone better. It was super smooth. Every concern or worry that I had about coming back to sanctioned play after the shutdown and during the pandemic and all this stuff was put to rest. Everybody was super cooperative and super just positive, and everybody was being very understanding and accommodating for the circumstances that we had to operate under. And it was just a really good time, man. Some really cool milestones for me. I was concerned, with having to kind of scale things down and separate from each other a little bit in order to keep things going, that it wouldn't feel like we were all as together as it normally feels. I was really worried that was going to be the case, but I felt such a sense of family and unity on Saturday, and everybody, was just happy to see each other, happy to be playing disc golf together again. Just a great time, and this was the 30th anniversary of the Seven Oaks Summer Solstice. I think the first one was in 1990. And to mark that momentous was the one I was looking for. Yeah. It's getting a little past my bedtime. To mark that monumentous, gosh, man, I did it again. To mark that occasion, we'll just get rid of it. Chop it. Continue.
Yeah. Let's go.
To mark that occasion, we had some of the most legendary figureheads in disc golf in the South.
That's why.
At our tournament.
Okay. I was wondering why H.B. Clark was there, because he and Barry Gill online had like a little feud going on about the tournaments that they've played in. And I didn't reach out, but I looked online and I looked at the PDGA and I looked at the member search for Barry Gill, and I also looked up for H.B. Clark and looked at the tournaments that they played in. And it's really interesting back in, like you said, like the early 90s, and one of them first tournaments they're playing in, and they're like against each other, and like Barry's like, "Oh, I got you in 1990," and then HB Clark comes back and is like, "Oh yeah, I do better on one day tournaments," and he like posts all his like awards online, dude. And I'm like,
original trophies,
his original trophies, man. Dude. I would love to see HB Clark's WoW, and I'm super happy that on the 30th anniversary that he came out, and I was like, really?
And not just him, dude. He brought Barry Gill and David Eiler. David Eiler is the guy that ran the first Tennessee State tournaments.
Their PDGA numbers combined is still less than mine.
Yeah, for sure. No kidding. 6-digit PDGA numbers going out now. We're in the close to the 130,000 mark if it hasn't already gone past it.
It's past it.
And we had 2 3-digit PDGA numbers out there. That's crazy. Yeah. And interesting little factoid about David Eiler, his PDGA number is ratioed out in 9s or something, the numerical kind of representation of a yin and yang, which is throwback to, the whole inner hole one.
Inner hole one.
Yep, at Seven Oaks. So I also did get to have a really cool conversation with David, and we've exchanged information, and he is going to come on the podcast. So we will get to continue this Local Legends series with David Eiler, and I finally talked Rodney Goad into doing the podcast. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
When we first started this, as the first and second name I came up with, I was like, Rodney Goad, please.
He's right. He was always right up there with Steve Hardy.
Oh yeah.
And we got that one done, at least for the first time. So yeah, Rodney Goad coming soon to a future episode of the Music City Disc Golf Podcast.
I think that's gonna be like a 3-hour episode.
Oh, it's going to be a good one. Yeah. We're going to tell my wife in advance, sorry, baby, I love you. I'm going to be home a little bit late.
We're going to walk away and just leave Rodney the mic. Like, hey, Rodney, just start talking.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one.
I think we can put his mic, like, across the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can hear it from everywhere, right?
Yeah.
I love Rodney.
For sure. Yeah, we can put him downstairs. yeah, but some other really cool things. I want to say thanks to Mike McDaniel, Telly, Joe Ruiz, Chris Wilson, Miami, everybody that was out at Seven Oaks over the last couple weeks putting in work. The course looked amazing. Thank you to Sean Grote and Angela Burns at the Nashville Disc Golf Store for taking care of our amateur payout. Thank you to our sponsors, Harlow Home Improvements, Mitchell Delicatessen, Stone Smith, and of course, as always, Dynamic Discs. They always hook us up. And also, shout out to Mike McDaniel and Logan Bowers, who were in a nail-biting race to first place in MPO. I mean, like, there were some other really, really good players, Harper Thompson, Telly, Dr. Hoy, playing, and it came down to, it was definitely between Mike and Logan, and it was like hole by hole, within one stroke of each other, back and forth. And thanks to the PDGA for, this new live leaderboard and digital scoring functionality, we were able to keep an eye on it at Tournament Central and watch as they were going back and forth, neck and neck with each other. It was just really entertaining and really cool to see just such a hard-fought battle between two of our best at one of the most significant events in my mind that we do in Nashville. I was really wanting to make it a B tier this year, and hopefully we'll be able to do that next year. But, we were able to lower entry fees to get more of you guys access economically to the event. And, we went above and beyond PDGA guidelines on amateur payout, and 100% of entry fee money went back to the player. So amateurs all got a player's pack disc. Caleb McKinney made us an awesome stamp for our player's pack disc. He's new to stamp design, and he's new to disc golf. And he was out there with us on Saturday. So him and his female companion, I think wife, don't want to presume, but they were out there, and just lots of people. 10 to 15 people on Saturday told me that they were playing their first tournament.
I love it.
Just super impressive, and it reassures me that this influx of new players caused by the pandemic and people just trying to find stuff to do outside, but being able to get those people plugged in and sticking around, it's working. So many people, I got to watch them that was their first tournament. You get to see their eyes light up and have that experience for the first time. So just super awesome. Shout out to everybody that played for their first time on Saturday. And I'm probably skipping over stuff because it's just kind of getting towards being late, and I want to wrap this up. But I have to say a very big thank you and some golf snaps to the magnanimous Dr. Hoy. Man, the guy just knocks it out of the park. His attention to detail, he does not get tired. I mean, he works long hours at the hospital in a very demanding job, and he's been instrumental in helping us get ready to get back to playing disc golf and still be able to protect the health and safety and look out for the health and safety of you guys. I mean, this guy's been consulted by the PDGA medical committee throughout the return to sanctioning. And several people at the PDGA are lobbying for him to serve on the medical committee, which I fully endorse. And he also, he keeps a smile on his face. He's positive. He's cracking jokes while doing tee times for 12 hours. And then still went out and played around and had a good time. And just love that guy, man. I don't know where we'd be without him. I mean, he's somebody that I can always count on, and and just for advice and for help. And the dude does an amazing job. I was trying to save, the talk about the summer solstice for him being with us. He had to work late at the hospital. Shocker. But yeah, I wanted him to be here to talk about it because I know it was special for him too. Yep, wrap it up. Wrap it up, B. Wrap it up. Yeah, I got it, Brandon. Wrapping it up.
I miss Brandon. I ain't seen Brandon in forever.
Yeah, he's hollering, dude. He's been watching for a while.
Right?
Yeah. What up, Brandon?
Hello, Brandon.
You, man.
Come out and play, man.
Yeah.
With me, of course. I don't know about everybody else, but.
But yeah, dude. Seven Oaks Summer Solstice 2020 is definitely one that will last in the very front of my memory banks on tournaments that I've put together forever. It's always going to be special. For all the reasons I've already listed and more. Oh, shout out to Therese Sieber. Dude was playing MPO, which I just remember last year doing a live video with him after he got his first rec win at I think it was the Mike Lane Classic. And he's moved up to MPO, and he's holding his own, man. And
He played Tennessee States.
Yeah, and he played Tennessee States, and then now at the summer solstice. So you guys know, if you've been to one of our events since coming back from the shutdown, our side game that we're running with our stuff now is a long putt contest, and there's 3 prizes available, 3 possible winners, and Stone Smith won all 3 at our bag tag at Cedar Hill, and he donated prizes back to us to give out again at the next one. And then Therese Sieber was paying. Kurt was like in the process of paying for his turn at the long putt contest and was like looking around and asking people what they wanted. He was giving away his prizes before he even paid to go putt, and he ended up winning all 3 of the prizes. Gave away a bag, gave away a bunch of stuff. Just super happy for Therese. And and it's cool to see stuff like that. Therese and Kyle Batten that are good dudes, and they're carrying on the spirit of what this is all about.
What disc golf is all about.
And they're getting rewarded. It's nice to
Exactly.
see them winning things. Yeah, hitting aces, winning side games, stuff like that. It's just, as a TD, it makes me feel better. It makes me feel like things are all working out the way they should. And
well, that's what disc golf is supposed to do. It's supposed to give you a good feeling, whether you're out with your friends or getting beat by 18 strokes by Logan Bowers. It's supposed to feel good.
Yeah.
And that's what we expect.
Yep.
And I'm super happy to see Therese out, Kyle Batten out, anybody, that's out having a good time, doing their thing, playing the sport they love. And I love it too. So why wouldn't you love a sport that I love?
yeah, right? Yeah, Brandon. Yes, I totally agree. Go back and listen to some of the earlier parts of the episode with JRay, where we were talking about that very thing.
True.
T, we love you too, man. Thanks for always coming out. It's always nice to see you coming because you're a positive influence, and you're a good dude to be around, and you're always welcome at our stuff, for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Come pick me up in that nice Audi whenever you want to.
Ballin'.
I'm just saying my car is overheating, so your boy needs a ride.
Yep. So, we were actually able to stream this episode live, which that's encouraging. But, the video that we post on YouTube will be better quality. It'll have some additional video content, some cool graphics and stuff, and just a cleaner viewing experience. And the audio will also be available on our website, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. So we're about to jump off here. Marcus, thanks, man. This is the first episode. We were kind of talking about this off the air, but this is the first episode that Marcus and I have done by ourselves together.
A lot of people have asked me about the podcast, the video cast, and I've just told them I'm like trying to gain experience.
Yeah.
And I finally felt like I've had an experience to hold it down with you.
Well, you kind of got shoved into the deep end tonight because Jay went MIA and Dr. Hoy is stuck at work. So it was like sink or swim time. And you swam beautifully.
Yeah. It's the hair. I had to refresh my fro. Like
your backstroke is splendid, sir.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and the hair game, dude. I mean, like, come on. I took my hat off one time on this show, and it like our audience just went dipped, and we just got to keep the fro always clear and presently in view. So
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
That's how we get
as
more.
Always.
That's how we expand our audience, right?
True.
Because I mean, who doesn't want to look at that beautiful mane? And it's just crazy, man. You were like wearing these giant headphones. You can't even tell they're on your head.
If I pull the headphones for it, like the fro gets bigger, and I noticed like halfway through, I kept bringing like the headphones for it. I was like, my fro's getting smaller. I gotta bring the headphones for it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the show. Next week, tonight we were supposed to have Derek Skull from Gatekeeper Media joining us, and he got a gig outside of town. We mentioned earlier, but he's only been pushed 1 week back. So we look forward to talking to Derek from Gatekeeper next Monday for episode 87. And in the meantime, keep banging those aces and getting y'all some money.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna hit ace, obviously. So somebody else might as well.
See, he's saying that because he's jinxing himself, and it's reverse psychology, and now he's going to smash an ace.
Mind blown for the 3rd time this episode.
I will believe in you if you don't believe in yourself, Marcus. I won't let you fall.
I just don't believe in my wrist.
I believe in it. I've seen that wrist do some amazing things.
Yeah, my putters are ancient. Let's go.
All right. Love y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the show, and we'll catch you next week.
See you next week, guys.
See you on the course.
Adios.
Let the bass kick.